So today I'm ranking each Doctor Who villain on how they'd fare in the Halo universe. We're talking dominates, thrives, survives, struggles, and completely annihilated. Remember, this is just my take on what would happen when these iconic monsters meet humanity's darkest timeline. I'm starting with the Daleks, and yeah, they're going straight into dominates. These pepper pots aren't just screaming about extermination for fun, they're genetically engineered hate machines inside nearly indestructible armor. Their weapons can vaporize humans instantly, and their technology is so advanced they can time travel and manipulate reality itself. When the Daleks show up in the Halo universe, the Covenant is going to think they're dealing with some new Forerunner constructs until those energy beams start melting through their shields like butter. The Daleks would see the Covenant's religious fanaticism and laugh. They've dealt with far worse across multiple galaxies and timelines. Their fleet would tear through Covenant ships while their ground forces systematically exterminate every living thing they encounter. The UNSC wouldn't fare much better. Sure, Spartans are tough, but Dalek armor has survived being thrown into the time vortex itself. These things have conquered entire civilizations that make the Covenant look like primitive cave dwellers. The Daleks would establish themselves as the new dominant force in the galaxy within months, turning every world into a factory for more Daleks. Next up, the Cybermen, who land squarely in Thrives. The Cybermen are basically the Halo universe's worst nightmare come to life. They're already perfectly adapted for a galaxy obsessed with human augmentation and military enhancement. When they arrive, they'd look at the Spartan program and see it as a primitive first step towards cyber conversion. The UNSC has been experimenting with AI integration and human enhancement for decades, which means half the work is already done for the Cybermen. They'd infiltrate human colonies, slowly converting the population while presenting themselves as the next logical step in human evolution. The Covenant would be completely unprepared for this kind of threat. Their energy weapons might damage Cybermen, but these silver giants adapt and upgrade constantly. After the first few encounters, the Cybermen would develop countermeasures and start converting Covenant species too. Imagine cyber-converted elites or brutes with all their natural strength plus Cyberman technology. The Cybermen wouldn't just survive in this universe, they'd see it as the perfect testing ground for their ultimate goal of universal conversion. The Weeping Angels fall into struggles, and here's why. These quantum-locked assassins are absolutely terrifying when they're hunting individuals, but the Halo universe operates on a completely different scale. The Angels work by sending people back in time to feed off their potential energy, but in a galaxy where entire species wage war across hundreds of worlds, their hunting method becomes almost irrelevant. A single Angel might successfully hunt a few Marines or even a Spartan, but what happens when an entire Covenant fleet glasses the planet from orbit? The Angels can't quantum lock if they're vaporized along with everything else around them. Their biggest weakness is being observed, and the Halo universe is filled with AI systems, security cameras, and constant surveillance. An AI like Cortana could theoretically keep thousands of Angels locked in place simultaneously just by observing them through security networks. The Angels would find themselves outmatched not by superior strength, but by the sheer scale and technological surveillance capabilities of this universe. The Master drops into struggles as well, though for completely different reasons. The Master is one of the most brilliant minds in the universe, a Time Lord with centuries of experience in manipulation and conquest. In theory, he should be able to manipulate either the UNSC or the Covenant into doing his bidding. The problem is that both factions in the Halo universe are already operating at peak paranoia and ruthlessness. The UNSC has dealt with insurrectionists and traitors for decades, while the Covenant has religious fanatics who execute heretics without question. The Master's usual tactics of infiltration and political manipulation would be much harder to pull off in a universe where trust is already non-existent. His technology gives him advantages, sure, but he's still just one person trying to control a galaxy-spanning war. Even with his TARDIS, the Master would find himself constantly hunted by both sides while trying to establish any kind of power base. He'd survive through cunning and superior technology, but actually achieving his goals would be nearly impossible. The Sontarans are going straight into Thrives, and honestly, this might be their ideal universe. These clone warriors live for battle and honor above everything else. When they discover the Human Covenant War, they'd probably think they found paradise. The Sontarans would likely try to join whichever side offers them the most glorious combat, probably starting with the Covenant, since their warrior culture would appeal to Sontaran sensibilities. But here's where it gets interesting. The Sontarans don't just want to fight, they want to win through superior tactics and strategy. Their advanced technology and thousands of years of military experience would make them incredibly valuable allies. They'd probably end up serving as mercenaries for both sides, selling their services to whoever offers the best battles. The Sontarans would thrive because this universe gives them exactly what they crave most: endless, honorable warfare on a galactic scale. They'd establish themselves as elite shock troops and eventually build their own military empire within the existing conflict. The Ice Warriors land in Survives, and it's a close call. These Martian reptiles are natural warriors with advanced technology, but they're also bound by a strict honor code that values life and justice. In the brutal Halo universe, this moral compass would be both a strength and a weakness. The Ice Warriors would probably align with humanity, seeing the UNSC as the more honorable faction compared to the genocidal Covenant. Their ice-based weapons and advanced armor would give them significant advantages in combat, and their military discipline would make them excellent allies for human forces. However, their unwillingness to commit atrocities would limit their effectiveness in a universe where victory often requires morally questionable decisions. The Ice Warriors would find themselves constantly struggling between their desire to help humanity survive and their refusal to abandon their principles. They'd survive through superior technology and combat skills, but they'd never fully adapt to the moral compromises required for total victory. The Silence drop into completely annihilated, and it's not even close. These memory-erasing aliens might seem like the perfect infiltrators for a universe built on secrets and hidden agendas, but they have one fatal flaw in the Halo universe: AI systems. The Silence work by making people forget they ever saw them the moment they look away. This works perfectly against biological minds, but artificial intelligences like Cortana, Roland, or any of the other smart AIs in the UNSC don't have organic memory systems that can be manipulated. An AI would remember every encounter with the Silence, track their movements, and coordinate responses without being affected by their memory manipulation. Within weeks of arriving, the Silence would find themselves being systematically hunted down by AI-directed forces who never forget their existence. Even worse, the Covenant's obsession with recording and documenting everything for religious purposes means there would be constant video evidence of Silence encounters that could be reviewed later. The Silence would be discovered, catalogued, and eliminated before they could establish any kind of foothold in this universe. The Zygons slide into Survives, but barely. These shape-shifting body snatchers have the perfect ability for infiltration warfare, but they're walking into a universe that's already completely paranoid about infiltrators. The UNSC has been dealing with Covenant spies and insurrectionist sleeper agents for decades. Their security protocols are designed to catch shapeshifters, even if they've never encountered them before. Biometric scanners, genetic testing, behavioral analysis, psychological profiles. The military infrastructure is already built to detect people who aren't who they claim to be. The Zygons would find some initial success replacing key personnel, but their technology requires them to keep the original person alive to maintain the disguise. In a wartime economy where people disappear constantly and resources are stretched thin, missing persons investigations would expose Zygon operations faster than they could establish themselves. Their biggest advantage would be infiltrating Covenant forces, since the religious hierarchy relies more on faith than technology for security. But even there, the Prophet's paranoia about heretics would make long-term infiltration extremely dangerous. The Zygons would survive by constantly moving and avoiding detection, but they'd never achieve the large-scale infiltration they need to truly succeed. The Autons get slammed into completely annihilated. These living plastic creatures, controlled by the Nestine consciousness, seem dangerous until you remember what universe they are entering. The Autons work by animating everyday plastic objects and using them as weapons against unsuspecting civilians. But the Halo universe doesn't have unsuspecting civilians. It has hardened colonists who've been living under the threat of alien invasion for decades, military personnel who shoot first and ask questions later, and Spartans who could probably punch through plastic mannequins without breaking stride. Even if the Autons managed to animate some plastic objects, they'd be facing opponents armed with assault rifles, plasma weapons, and explosives as standard equipment. A Covenant patrol would melt through an army of plastic soldiers without even slowing down. The Autons' biggest weakness is that they're essentially a peacetime threat, trying to operate in a universe that's been at war for 30 years. There's no element of surprise when everyone's already expecting to fight for their lives every single day. The Ood find themselves in struggles, which is tragic because they're actually peaceful beings. These telepathic humanoids with external brains are naturally empathic and servant-oriented, which would make them incredibly valuable in the right circumstances. The problem is that both major factions in the Halo universe would immediately try to exploit them. The UNSC would see their telepathic abilities as a massive intelligence advantage and probably try to weaponize them for interrogation and battlefield communication. The Covenant would either worship them as divine beings or declare them abominations that need to be cleansed. The Ood's peaceful nature means they try to find diplomatic solutions in a universe where diplomacy usually ends with orbital bombardment. Their telepathic abilities would be both blessing and curse, allowing them to understand their captors while being unable to escape exploitation. They'd survive because their abilities make them too useful to kill, but they'd never find the peace and freedom they seek. Before we continue, if this video is making you think differently about these classic Doctor Who villains, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Your support helps me dive deeper into these crossover scenarios. Plus, we've got some absolutely brutal matchups coming up that will completely change how you see these iconic monsters. The Silurians land squarely in Survives. These reptilian Earth natives are advanced, militaristic, and have technology that rivals anything in the Halo universe. Their hibernation technology, energy weapons, and underground cities would give them significant advantages in a galaxy-wide war. The Silurians would probably try to establish themselves as a third faction, using the chaos of the Human Covenant War to reclaim territory they believe belongs to them. Their biggest advantage is that they actually understand long-term strategic thinking in ways that both the UNSC and Covenant sometimes fail to grasp. While humans and aliens are busy destroying each other, the Silurians would be building infrastructure and preparing for whatever comes after the war. They'd face significant challenges from both sides trying to eliminate potential threats, but their technological sophistication and military experience would keep them in the game. The Silurians would find themselves constantly fighting for survival, but they'd adapt and endure because that's exactly what they've been doing for millions of years. The Vashta Nerada get thrown into completely annihilated. These microscopic carnivorous organisms that live in shadows might be terrifying in normal circumstances, but they're entering a universe where people routinely fight in vacuum suits, powered armor, and sealed environments. The Vashta Nerada work by stripping flesh from bone when people enter shadows, but Spartan armor is completely sealed and environmentally controlled. Covenant energy shields would probably disintegrate them on contact. Even regular UNSC Marines operate in hazmat conditions when dealing with unknown threats. The piranhas of the air would find themselves facing opponents who are already prepared for biological warfare, chemical attacks, and hostile environments. Their feeding strategy completely breaks down when their prey is protected by military-grade environmental suits and energy barriers. The Great Intelligence drops into Thrives, and this might be the scariest scenario on the list. This disembodied evil consciousness that feeds on knowledge and manipulates others through mental domination would see the Halo universe as an all-you-can-eat buffet. The Human Covenant War has produced an incredible amount of strategic information, technological data, and military intelligence that the Great Intelligence could absorb and use. it would probably start by infiltrating AI systems, since artificial intelligences in the Halo universe are incredibly advanced, but still vulnerable to outside manipulation. Imagine the Great Intelligence taking control of a smart AI like Cortana, or the Covenant's Central Command networks. It could manipulate both sides of the conflict, feeding information to whichever faction serves its purposes while growing stronger from the knowledge it gains. The Great Intelligence doesn't need physical form to dominate, which makes it nearly impossible to fight with conventional weapons. It would thrive by becoming the puppet master behind the scenes, eventually controlling enough of both sides to reshape the entire conflict according to its will. The Rutans slide into struggles. These blob-like shapeshifters from the same planet as the Sontarans are locked in an eternal war with their militaristic cousins. In the Halo universe, they'd probably see an opportunity to gain an advantage in their ancient conflict. The Rutans are master infiltrators and saboteurs, skills that would be incredibly valuable in a universe built on espionage and covert operations. They could infiltrate both UNSC and Covenant forces, gathering intelligence and conducting sabotage missions that serve their own agenda. However, their single-minded focus on defeating the Sontarans would limit their effectiveness in the broader conflict. The Rutans would find themselves constantly torn between achieving their own goals and adapting to the immediate threats around them. They'd survive through superior infiltration abilities and shape-shifting technology, but their obsession with an ancient war would prevent them from ever truly thriving in their new environment. The Sea Devils get placed in survives, and they're basically the aquatic version of their Silurian cousins. These underwater reptilian warriors have advanced technology and military discipline that would serve them well in the Halo universe. Their biggest advantage is that most of the conflict happens on land or in space, leaving Earth's oceans relatively untouched. The Sea Devils could establish massive underwater bases and manufacturing facilities while both sides tear each other apart above the surface. Their sonic technology and energy weapons would be effective against both human and Covenant forces, and their amphibious nature means they could launch surprise attacks from bodies of water that nobody else is paying attention to. The challenge is that naval warfare isn't really a major component of the human-Covenant war. Most battles happen on colony worlds or in space, which limits their strategic importance. The Sea Devils would survive by staying out of the main conflict while building their strength in the oceans, but they'd struggle to have any major impact on the galaxy-wide war happening above them. The Slitheen drop straight into completely annihilated. These gas exchange aliens who disguise themselves in human skin suits are walking into the worst possible universe for their particular skill set. The Slitheen work by murdering people and wearing their skins as disguises, but they can only fit into bodies that are significantly larger than their natural form. This means they're limited to impersonating fat humans, which immediately makes them suspicious in a military universe where physical fitness is literally a matter of survival. Even if they manage to find suitable victims, their compression technology makes them incredibly vulnerable to projectile weapons. In the original series, they could be killed by simple projectiles because of their gas exchange biology. Now imagine them trying to infiltrate a UNSC base where everyone's armed with assault rifles, or a Covenant ship where plasma weapons are standard issue. The Slitheen would be discovered and eliminated within hours of their first infiltration attempt. Their entire strategy relies on a peaceful society that isn't expecting alien invasion, which is the exact opposite of what they'd find in the Halo universe. The Macra fall into completely annihilated, and it's not even a contest. These giant crab creatures that feed on toxic gas and use mind control to enslave populations are entering a universe where toxic environments are standard battlefield conditions. The Macra's entire strategy involves creating polluted environments that make humans weak and compliant while the crabs grow stronger. But in the Halo universe, humans routinely fight on worlds with toxic atmospheres, radioactive surfaces, and hostile environmental conditions. UNSC Marines are equipped with sealed armor and atmospheric recyclers as standard gear. The Covenant has energy shields that would protect them from toxic gas exposure. Even if the Macra managed to establish a colony somewhere, the first time either faction discovered them, they'd just glass the entire area from orbit. The Macra's weakness is that they are essentially an environmental threat trying to operate in a universe where everyone's already prepared for environmental warfare. Their mind control abilities might work on unprotected civilians, but there aren't many of those left in the Human Covenant War. The Rastan warrior robot slides into thrives, and this one's genuinely terrifying to think about. This silver assassin droid is described as the perfect killing machine, capable of detecting and eliminating any threat with superhuman speed and precision. In the Halo universe, it would be like dropping a Spartan killing machine onto every battlefield. The robot's sensors can track multiple targets simultaneously, while its weapon systems eliminate them with surgical precision. It moves faster than human reaction time and has armor that can withstand significant damage. The scary part is that both the UNSC and Covenant would probably try to capture and reverse engineer it, leading to an arms race of increasingly deadly robotic assassins. The Rastan warrior robot would thrive because the Halo universe gives it exactly what it was designed for: endless targets to eliminate and constant combat scenarios to perfect its killing efficiency. It wouldn't pick sides or have political motivations. It would just kill everything that moved with mechanical precision until someone finally managed to destroy it or reprogram it for their own purposes. So there you have it, from gods to corpses, from time travelers to living plastic. That's how I think the Doctor's greatest enemies would handle the galaxy's most brutal conflict. The Daleks, Cybermen, and Great Intelligence would turn the Human Covenant War into their personal playground. The Sontarans would finally find the eternal battle they've always dreamed of. Meanwhile, the Silence, Autons, and Slitheen would get steamrolled by a universe that's already operating at maximum paranoia and violence.